When I was a kid growing up in India, my father would take me on long walks through the narrow streets of our hometown. You could hear everything: the temple bells ringing, the azan rising from the mosque, the choir singing from a small church at the corner. And I remember asking him once, how can so many people believe in different gods and still live together? He smiled and said, because truth doesn't compete, son. Truth completes. That line stayed with me. Because as I grew up, as I traveled across the world, I realized we don't struggle because of our religions. We struggle because we forget what religion was meant to do: to connect, not to divide, to guide, not to control, to liberate, not to limit. Today, the world speaks of religion and ideology like they are weapons. We've turned faith into an argument. We've turned belief into a battlefield. And yet, deep down, every faith whispers the same truth: be kind, be human. So today, let's talk about belief, not as a system, not as a rule book, but as a force of human progress. Let's talk about religion and ideology as tools for change, for freedom, for discipline, and for courage. Because faith is not what divides us, it's what defines us. 1. The power of belief. Everything great begins with belief. Before there was electricity, there was belief. Before there was freedom, there was belief. Before there was success, there was belief. Every leader, every reformer, every revolutionary, from Buddha to Gandhi to Mandela, began with one simple idea: that change starts in the human mind. Belief is the seed of every breakthrough. It turns impossible into inevitable. But belief, when misunderstood, becomes dangerous. When belief becomes about proving others wrong instead of making yourself right, it loses its purpose. When belief becomes about ego instead of empathy, it stops being faith and starts being fear. You see, the real enemy of faith is not doubt, it's arrogance. It's when we believe our truth is the only truth. Real belief doesn't shout, it shines. It doesn't destroy, it disciplines. It doesn't divide, it directs. So ask yourself, do you believe to dominate, or do you believe to develop? Because one creates walls and the other builds worlds. 2. The freedom to think. Every religion, every ideology, began as a rebellion, a breakthrough of thought. Someone dared to question what everyone accepted. Someone dared to see a higher possibility. Freedom of thought is the soul of every faith. But somewhere along the way we forgot that. We started following rules without reason and rituals without reflection. True religion gives you the courage to question, not the fear to obey. Because without questioning, faith becomes control. Without freedom, ideology becomes imprisonment. Freedom is not the absence of belief. It's the power to choose your belief consciously. When you free your mind, you see faith not as a fence, but as a field. Not as a prison, but as a path. Freedom allows belief to evolve. It makes your spirit fluid, your thoughts fearless. So remember this: freedom is not rebellion. Freedom is responsibility. The responsibility to think, to choose, to act, not with hate, but with humanity. 3. The discipline of faith. Faith is not a feeling that comes and goes. It's a discipline that builds character. It's the voice that says, keep walking, when the world tells you to stop. It's the strength that keeps you humble in success and grounded in failure. Discipline gives direction to devotion. Without it, even the purest faith loses focus. Every religion teaches discipline: prayer, fasting, reflection, service, not as punishment, but as practice. You cannot have spiritual success without discipline, just as you cannot have physical strength without consistency. Faith and discipline walk together, because belief without action is noise, and action without belief is empty. So be disciplined in your kindness. Be consistent in your courage. Be relentless in your responsibility. That's what real devotion looks like. 4. The courage to respect. It's easy to love people who agree with you. It takes courage to respect those who don't. We talk a lot about courage. The courage to dream, the courage to fail. But one kind of courage is forgotten: the courage to respect. When someone prays differently, lives differently, thinks differently, your courage is tested. Respect is not agreement. Respect is maturity. It's strength under control. It's truth without arrogance. You don't need to fight for your faith when you truly understand it. Because confidence doesn't attack. Insecurity does. Courage is quiet. It listens when others shout. It forgives when others hate. And it chooses peace even when war seems easier. That's the courage we need. Not courage to dominate, but courage to understand. 5. The responsibility of ideology. Every ideology begins with hope, but without responsibility, that hope becomes a weapon. Ideology is powerful. It can build nations or burn them. It can unite billions or divide families. Responsibility means remembering why you believe. It means using belief as a bridge, not a boundary. Every great movement started with ideology, but only those guided by responsibility became revolutions of peace. When you carry an ideology, you carry a mirror. It reflects your character more than your claim. So, before you share, post, or preach, pause. Ask yourself, is this coming from my responsibility or my rage? Because ideology without empathy is just noise. But ideology with empathy, that's power. 6. The truth about conflict. Every war has two sides shouting, God is with us. But truth doesn't belong to one side. Truth belongs to the ones who seek, not the ones who shout. Conflict is not born from difference. It's born from ego. From the illusion that one must win for the other to lose. Truth doesn't compete with truth. Light doesn't fight light. It simply shines. You see, it's not religion that divides the world. It's interpretation, it's pride, it's power. The real revolution is not outside. It's inside. It's when a person decides, I will not let hate decide who I am. Conflict ends when courage begins. When we realize that peace is not the absence of difference, it's the presence of understanding. 7. The mindset of growth. Your mindset is your religion. Because everything you worship shapes what you become. If you worship fear, you'll live small. If you worship anger, you'll live restless. But if you worship truth, love, and growth, you'll live free. Religion is not static. It evolves with the mindset of its followers. A growth mindset doesn't see others as threats. It sees them as teachers. If your belief doesn't help you grow, it's not belief. It's bondage. Growth begins when you stop defending your ideology and start deepening it. Let your faith evolve with your understanding. Let your ideology expand with your empathy, because growth is the only proof of truth. 8. The purpose of unity. Unity is not uniformity. We don't need to think the same to stand together. Unity means harmony, not similarity. It means choosing collaboration over competition. The world doesn't need everyone to believe in the same God. It needs everyone to believe in the same goodness. Unity begins with humility. The humility to say, I don't have all the answers. The humility to listen before you speak. The humility to heal instead of hurt. We spend so much time trying to prove whose faith is better that we forget faith was never a competition. Every religion, every ideology, all teach one truth: serve others, respect others, love others. And maybe that's the miracle we've been searching for. Not walking on water, but walking together. 9. The spirit of innovation. Religion without evolution becomes ritual. Ideology without innovation becomes tyranny. Innovation is not just about machines or software. It's about mindset. It's about having the courage to reimagine. The world needs spiritual innovators. People who can blend science with soul, technology with truth, and progress with purpose. Innovation is when tradition meets transformation. When we take the wisdom of the past and rewrite it for the present. Don't abandon your roots. Upgrade them. Turn your belief into energy, your ideology into action. Because innovation doesn't destroy faith. It fulfills it. It gives it a new language, a new relevance, a new reach. 10. The legacy of humanity. When all the noise fades, the flags, the labels, the arguments, one truth will remain: we are all human. Religion gave us rituals, but humanity gave them meaning. Ideology gave us vision, but humanity gave it value. We are not Hindus, Muslims, Christians, or atheists first. We are humans who believe, humans who hope, humans who fall and rise again. And maybe that's the whole point. To remember that kindness is the only real prayer. That compassion is the only real ideology. That peace is not a miracle. It's a mindset. So let's build that legacy. A legacy where our children don't inherit our hatred, but our harmony. A legacy where belief becomes the beginning of unity, not the end of it. My friends, the future will not be defined by what we believe in, but by how we believe. Religion will not save us. Ideology will not unite us. Only humanity will. Faith without action is noise. Ideology without empathy is poison. But belief with courage, belief with love, belief with purpose, that's transformation. So today, as you walk out into the world, don't carry your belief like a weapon. Carry it like a light. Be the one who listens when others shout. Be the one who respects when others reject. Be the one who chooses truth over comfort, peace over pride, unity over fear. Because in a time when the world needs healing, your mindset, your courage, your discipline, your belief can be the breakthrough. And remember this line, the one my father told me under the sound of those temple bells: truth doesn't compete. Truth completes. Let your truth complete this world. Thank you.